really enjoyed it, so hopefully I'll be back next year.
Here we go. First thing you notice is Mark's very urgent driving style, and the first job of the travelling mechanic to keep out of the way of his flying elbows.
It was a fantastic ride, but you really only get part of an idea of the physical demands that this car makes. You can feel the 12-litre engine putting down the power, and it's remarkably smooth. Although I can't imagine what it was like to race these on the gravel surfaces of 100 years ago. To think that in 1908 this car took 9 hours to complete the 500-mile French Grand Prix, and we're only just doing a little over a mile. It's a supreme effort for car, driver, and the poor old travelling mechanic.
Giving 12-time World Trials champion Dougie Lampkin a licence to roam at Goodwood was a very smart move, as he delighted the crowds wherever he popped up with his off-the-cuff improvised appearances. Well, Dougie, I think you are one of the stars of Goodwood this year. You really have captured people's imagination. Getting up and seeing you so close, what's it been like?
It's been a great festival so far. Obviously, the opportunity to come down here, I've missed for the last couple of...
Still, it's a really nice day to drive. And now when you got to know...
Effort was not a priority in a classic Grand Prix car, as Sir Sterling Moss will tell you. A long-time supporter of the festival, Sterling's in a fan wall that gave Britain its first World Constructors' Championship when Moss and Tony Brooks beat all comers in 1959.
It's a fantastic car. I mean, really, it is so beautiful. And I must say, this one is feeling very nice. It was not the nicest car like a 250F, but it won the World Championship, so what can you say?
Sterling would have won a Drivers' Championship too had he not been beaten to the title by just 1 point in 1958 by a tall man with a penchant for bow ties.
Of course, he's not the only young driver who sees the checkered board pattern before anyone else. Mike Hawthorne's second season of racing shows him to be another potential world beater. Meticulous in his pre-race preparation, Mike always arrives bright and early at the home Farnham Garage. Joined by Hugh, his top mechanic, they go along for a quick inspection of the 2-litre Cooper Bristol, which is being prepared for its next event, the top race of the season.
Theme of Goodwood this year is Hawthorne. Got the red of Ferrari, the black and gold of Lotus. But what would be the most famous racing livery? Well, many people would suggest it's the strange combination of duck egg blue and orange that says Gulf Oil, the Ford GT40 and the Porsche 917. And after the feature film Le Mans, it's a livery that also says Steve McQueen. Cinema goers would tell you it was Steve McQueen that won the 1970 Le Mans, when in actual fact it was Richard Atwood in a factory Porsche. But he's not bitter.
Oh, not for me at all. I mean, I was majorly in that film because that was made in '71 and it's based on 1970. And I had quite a bit of time that year because I was winding down my career. So I had a lot of time to help Steve make the film. So I was all for it. They paid me very well too. He was, when he was a man's man, he was a girl's man, of course, as well. He was just a fantastic character, very keen. He was really enthusiastic to make the film.
What are your memories of 1970 as well?
We were in a very slow car relative to the other cars. At the beginning of the race, I thought we hadn't got a chance because we had a 4.5 instead of a 5-litre. Qualifying, we were sort of towards 20th fastest. And I just realised that we couldn't surely have problems with all those cars in front to win it. But that happened, and in fact, after only 10 hours, we were in the lead. And we then had that, the most difficult thing was defending that lead to the end. And of course, it was terribly, terribly wet.
It was 1969 that this livery got its Le Mans breakthrough, with Jackie Oliver, of course, behind the wheel. What do you remember of how this livery actually came about?
The Gulf Oil Company was quite a small American oil company as far as oil companies go. and the CEO was a guy called Grady Davies. Now, he was one of these old oil guys, was a real rough and ready guy. And his personality and background, when he said, this car's got to be a specific colour, it's got to be duck egg blue, which is more appropriate for a baby boy than a race car. And of course the orange came from the Golf logo. But I mean, now it is one of the most iconic liveries of any sponsorship program that I can remember.
Down the years, what did that orange and duck egg
work? But I think on this year, we really did sit down and spend a lot of time sketching ideas around and looking at what the possibilities were for Land Rover.
And Jerry, you put these structures together before for the Goodwood Festival. This is a lot closer to being a bit of sculpture, though, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Cars do. They're engineered, they're high performance, and I think to display them, they should be high performance too. This time, I think with Land Rover, they're not about speed, they're about what they can do and the different terrains they can go over. And in a way, that's what I wanted to put them on a platform which makes it look like they can only do this and nobody else can. And I suppose that gives it its sculptural quality.
You've had climbers going up and down it over the course of the last 3 days, but how has the public in general received it?
Those guys take it a little bit further, and I love that. And I think
the guys at on the briefing here have been kind enough to let me ride one of their machines up the hill here. This feels like a big street bike compared to the things that I was riding back then, but you know, if it had indicators and lights on, it'd be perfect.
It's really dusty, I guess, all the rally cars and stuff lying around on the grass and bring it all onto the road. But I didn't expect it to be too grippy anyway, but it was a bit. So as soon as set off, it just went slide everywhere. Oh, here we go.
It's been good to put on a good show for everyone up here, and we sort of saving the tyre just for the last run today, do a bit of a burnout. So it's fantastic. The crowd loved it, so it's good.
We're here celebrating 50 years of the British Touring Car Championship, and there is a great deal for the championship to celebrate, isn't there?
There is, yeah. There's a whole spectrum of cars that have raced in the championship, going right back to Jack Sears to the present day. And of course, you know, there's all the cars in between, the great cars like the Sierra Cosworth, and then the Super Touring Car era as well, which was probably the high point of the whole championship, when there was 6 or 7 car manufacturers seriously competing for the British Touring Car Championship, and there was professional drivers on the grid front to back. But those were the greatest days without a doubt. But for me personally, I think the RS500 years were the best, because the RS500 was such a great car, and as an engineer, it was something that you know, we had a great time with, building lots of cars, sending them all over the world, and you know, that was the high point of my career, I think.
Jack Sears, the original British Touring Car Champion, and then champion again in this, which caused a bit of a stir in the championship, didn't it?
Well, it certainly did, Steve. It's an amazing car. It's a genuine NASCAR racing saloon car, which the John Wilmot Racing Team bought and asked me to drive in 1963. Nobody knew quite how it would go. They were all impressed with its size. It handled better than everybody thought. It stopped better, and it had terrific performance, and it beat the Jaguars first time out at Silverstone, and it never looked back. It kept beating the Jaguars, and that was the end of Jaguar domination in the British Touring Car Championship.
We talk so much about the modern touring car era and the super touring car era, but here's a superstar from the early 60s, well, the Mini